There are tons of strategies which you can use to get to your first $10,000 in profit with dropshipping. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 methods on how to actually get there, and also 1/7 one which is just going to blow you away. Without further ado, let's get started with number 1. Number 1 is TikTok organic. And the main thing you have to understand here is there's one extremely important requirement, and that one is time. If you don't have at least 3 to 4 hours every single day consistently for a month in a row, this is not for you. TikTok organic is 100% not for you if you have less time than that. You need to be realistic with yourself and also understand that it's just not doable with less time. The other thing you need to keep in mind is there's one scenario where you should 100% do TikTok organic no matter what, and you're gonna have a huge advantage. And it's you having some sort of special talent. If you are a bodybuilder and you look extremely strong and you're gonna be amazing at promoting fitness products. If you are a flight attendant and you're constantly gonna be able to film videos in an airplane, if you're constantly traveling, it's all of those things which are gonna allow you to make way better content than everybody else. One other thing is, for example, if you are a female. If you're a female, it's much simpler for you to make TikTok organic work because there's at least the same amount of demand in online shopping when it comes to females. However, there's way more dropshippers which are actually male and are doing videos by themselves, and they basically don't really have access on a daily basis to a girl which they can film with. So it's super beneficial if you are a female. A lot of people consider TikTok organic to be a low budget strategy. And while that is the case and you need much less money to actually get started with it, the number one thing you need to understand here is don't think that only because you have money, you should definitely not do TikTok organic. Because still, if you care about making extra $10,000 every single month, TikTok organic is an extremely strong method to actually get there. The next one is Google Ads, and honestly, it's not the most beginner-friendly one. You need to understand that with Google, everything is different than with every other platform. Google is very search-based, and what you need to do with it is basically have products which are very, very searchable. So for example, if you think of any TikTok organic product, it's very unsearchable, and those are more the products which are impulse buys. You just see some kind of very special looking necklace and you think it's amazing, and you just buy it. This is not searchable. On Google, to rank for a necklace is way too expensive, and if it's a very specific necklace with anything in there, nobody's gonna search for it. It's just gonna be something which is gonna look cool, and that's why they buy it from TikTok or Facebook or whatever. But on Google, you have to be very specific, and one thing which actually does work really well is number 1, clothing, and number 2, expensive things. So on Google, you should definitely go more on the higher ticket side, and you need to understand and you need to be, again, very precise. So for example, you could sell a black leather couch or some kind of glass chessboard, for example. Those are products which make sense, where people would actually search it up and find it. The most important thing here is to be a little bit more specific than something very broad. So for example, if you just sell a table, that's very, very hard to rank for, and you're not going to be able to compete with all the big brands. So you need to be very specific and have less competition through that. Honestly, I would not recommend Google Ads for any beginner, and I would rather ease into it by first doing Facebook or TikTok or stuff like that, and then later on moving into Google Ads. The next one is theme page marketing. And theme page marketing is actually one of the first strategies I've ever tested out with dropshipping in my life. How it basically works is you go to Instagram, you find a specific niche with a passionate audience. So for example, boxing or tennis or golf or basketball or dolphins or elephants, whatever it is. You're gonna find a theme page with a specific niche, and you're gonna just find a product which is fitting and basically pay that page to actually promote your product. This works if you're really, really good at making content. If you're amazing at doing content and you, for example, mastered TikTok organic, you can actually take those videos which already went viral for you and just move them over to theme page marketing. And this will work well if your ads are a 10 out of 10. Honestly, my ads were terrible and I had no idea what I'm doing, and it was a very, very low level thing where I was just paying them like $20 to $100 and making around like $50 to $200. So it worked, but it wasn't anything crazy. One thing you need to keep in mind here is it's very good to actually warm up your Facebook pixel. If you're tight on budget and you want to start with Facebook, this is one very valid way to actually get started. You basically do theme page marketing and basically get free sales. You pay them, don't make money, you're breaking even, you don't really care. As long as you're just breaking even, you basically get free data. And with that free data, you season your pixel, and then you transition to Facebook and actually start selling from there, and you're basically going to be instantly profitable if you do this right, because Facebook exactly knows who to target already. So that's going to be a very valuable thing. Coming into the next method, which is Facebook ads. Facebook is the biggest dropshipping platform in the world right now. I would argue that the top dropshippers are all on Facebook and making the most amount of money through Facebook still. Even though everybody's talking about TikTok and how amazing that is, Facebook is having the most amount of spend through dropshipping. Am I saying that Facebook is the best way to start as a beginner? Not necessarily. At this point, to get started with Facebook is not the easiest task in the world, because you're definitely going to face a lot of problems with blogs, etc. And also, it's actually very hard to become profitable if you don't have the right strategy. In our program, we have like a very, very specific strategy, which literally nobody else on YouTube talks about. And that one actually does work really well on Facebook, and it is beginner friendly. But if you don't know that strategy, which I'm not going to reveal here on YouTube, Facebook is not the easiest way to start. And the only way I would recommend you to start with Facebook if you want to do it as a beginner is through this theme page method or through the method which we have in the program. So even though the most amount of money is spent on there, it doesn't mean that it's super beginner friendly. So basically, to make a random dropshipping product work on Facebook is actually pretty tough. And you're gonna have to definitely test a lot of products to get there and also spend some money to actually get to that point. And it's just a very scary thing for some beginners to spend like thousands of dollars without having any clue if it's gonna work after that. They basically spend and spend and spend without actually ever knowing if they're gonna recoup that money. If you're advanced, you don't give a shit. You can spend $20,000 to find one winning product because you understand one winner is worth way more than 20K, so it doesn't matter. But in the beginning, I would not recommend it because it's just also a mental game, because literally most people will break. Coming up next, Pinterest. If I'm being 100% honest, I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about when it comes to Pinterest. I just know a few people who are doing really well on it, but me personally, I've never properly done it. So what I'm hearing from the friends of mine who are actually doing really well on Pinterest, number one is in a lot of the cases, you're gonna have to spend like $500 to $1,000 before even making your very, very first sale, and that's totally fine just to warm everything up. Number two is they actually have an amazing support structure. If you start with Pinterest, you're gonna have like a full support team, and you're constantly gonna have calls with the people from Pinterest who are basically gonna explain to you what to do. If they are good, it's questionable, but the technical things they're definitely gonna be able to answer. It's definitely a viable method, and I know for a fact that a lot of people are doing great numbers with it, especially advanced people, but I don't wanna say anything wrong and tell people to start with it because I have no clue. Next is TikTok ads. TikTok ads is one of those platforms which is very, very quick cycle and super hectic. You need to understand that on TikTok, you need to be mass testing. The whole cycle is very fast. You test a product, it doesn't work, you move on instantly. Test the next one, and the next one, and the next one, you hit something and it works well. One thing you need to understand is TikTok ads is one of those platforms which is gonna have strong ups and downs. It's not gonna be very consistent. So the main problem with that is, for example, on day one, in a lot of the cases, it's gonna look amazing. Your ROAS is gonna be super high, but then day 2, 3, 4, 5 are gonna be shit. You need to keep in mind, don't get attached to a product just because day one was good. It's one of the most important rules you need to keep in mind on TikTok. TikTok ads is definitely a viable option because it's not that expensive to get your data because you're just cycling so fast. And the last one I want to talk about here is influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is actually very, very underutilized by most dropshippers. They have no clue how to properly do this. I have another video separately talking about exactly that, so you should definitely check it out. The main advantage of influencer marketing is you already have people who are amazing at doing content. And you just send the product to them, spend a few $100s, and in most cases, you're actually gonna make that money back from the influencer shout out, and then the content is yours. The content is going to be able to transfer to every other platform. And for example, you're going to be able to crush Facebook ads with amazing content flow from influencers. So influencer marketing is one of the most powerful tools in dropshipping if utilized right. Because it's literally getting free content, plus in a lot of the cases actually making really good profits from the influencers themselves, and then being able to transfer all of that, number one, data, and number two, content to Facebook to actually become profitable. So I have a full video where I break down how to do influencer marketing properly. You should definitely check it out. Also, if you're interested in working with me personally, in a program where I'm just gonna guide you through the entire process of dropshipping, from finding a good product, selecting the right strategy for you, making the best ads, doing a good store, actually running the ads and analyzing the numbers, and also the entire scaling process and how to brand it and just repeat the entire cycle. If you're interested in that, click the link below, sign up for a call with me personally. We're gonna find out if it's a good fit. And if yes, we're gonna start working together.